I've been talking with sources about what happened this morning, and what we know is that the suspect Minneapolis police said is in custody. I am told that the shooter is down.
Okay.
We don't know exactly the circumstances surrounding that, but we know that what I'm being told is that this person is no longer a threat. Which is important. We are told, I am being told that this person acted alone, that it was one person that they were looking for, and that person is down.
Right.
Of course, this is a fluid situation where we are getting information as it comes in, a very serious situation, and this is the information that we are getting from people that we trust, that are giving us information about what's happened. We are working to learn more. We have other information that we are trying to get confirmed at this hour, so that we can pass it along to you as soon as we have that information confirmed. But we do know that the person who they believe is responsible.
And that's important that we have this new information that the shooter has been contained, because I know that other schools, other areas were in lockdown until there was that official information. I was telling AJ and Maria earlier, and all of you, Jen, that I got an email from my own children's school sharing with us that they were in lockdown. So this also frees up just the community as well, in terms of the fear that people might have being in that area or having their children in other schools that are nearby in that spot, or there's a library just down the street.
I was just going to say,
down the street.
There's
from
a library
the
over there. There's the Kowalski's that's down there, and you talk about a neighborhood. This is not like this was in an isolated area.
Right.
This was in South Minneapolis. I mean, this is a very, very busy area.
All of these families that are over in that neighborhood. So many people walking through that spot as well. It's a very busy area, as Caroline showed you. I go back to those ambulances that just showed up there, and you look at these ambulances from Hennepin Healthcare, from North Memorial. These are our trauma hospitals that were there waiting. Looks like we still have 2 North Memorial ambulances there on scene right now. You're taking a live look once again outside of Annunciation Catholic School. This is right over at 54th and Bryant. So it's a very busy section of South Minneapolis. It's that 54th Street right near Lyndale, right next to Bryant. You see, there you go. You see another person walking with a child. Not clear if that child goes to that school or not, but you just see those hugs. You see those hugs of those people. Whether you go to the school or not, you are hugging your child right now if they are home with you.
You know, I just spoke with someone who went to this school years ago, and her daughter goes to a Catholic school as well, and said, I just can't speak right now. Like, there's so much emotion from people who aren't directly impacted today.
I just got a message from one of my friends who's a parent at our school nearby, and she said, I don't know how you're up here because I'm sobbing right now. And so that is, I think, a feeling when parents are watching this, any parent watching this right now, hugging onto their children and crying because you could your worst nightmare.
It's universal.
What would happen.
There are things that are universal that, a child's grief, that's one of those things that we all feel. When you think about a family and what this does to a family, that extra hug tonight, it takes on a different meaning if you're able to do that. So also just getting some updates. We're hearing from other representatives this morning. We just heard from Senator Tina Smith and Senator Amy Klobuchar. Senator Amy Klobuchar says, I am heartbroken by the horrific violence at Annunciation Catholic School in Minneapolis this morning. My prayers are with the students, teachers, and families. I am grateful for the first responders who are on the scene. And Senator Smith said, my staff and I are monitoring the situation at Annunciation Catholic School. I am grateful for the quick response of law enforcement as we continue to gather information.
All right, we do have some new information coming in from CBS that we can report here. What CBS has learned is they say as many as 20 people are injured. This coming from 2 federal law enforcement sources, both of them confirming 20 people injured. The sources did not want to speculate on any deaths, but they say it does sound like at least some of these injured are in critical condition. Both say that the shooter was wearing all black, was a male using a rifle, and was neutralized police. They are now confirming that the shooter is dead. No other weapons were mentioned, but they say the search continues. FBI, ATF are responding right now. So that is the newest information that we have from CBS. CBS News. 20 people injured. The shooter is dead. Some victims, we understand, are in critical condition. We do not have any information on any of the victims have passed.
That is that information mirrors what I've been being told from our sources this morning. As many as 20 people, but that the person was wearing all black. One person that they were looking for, and that person is down.
And we did want to mention that this happened just about a little over an hour ago is when we first began getting reports of this shooting. And our Caroline Cummings got to the scene very quickly after those first reports started coming in. She is still there. We have several crews on the scene right now, but we want to go back to Caroline to listen to more about what she has to say right there live on the scene. We're seeing so many law enforcement, and those ambulances just continue to, it looks like, show up.
Yeah, that's right. Maria, I believe we were just, you guys back in the studio were just talking about, the reunification of families and children here at this school. I just saw walk past us a family with their 2 young boys, and the mother was just overcome with emotion, and I felt a pang in my heart seeing her like that, because she seemed to have her babies with her, but I'm sure her heart is with all of those parents who might not know where their children are, whose children are injured. Like we heard from our CBS News partners, 20 injured at this point. So it's a really emotional day out here. I'm right in front of the entrance to the school. There is people with looks of just shock and horror on their face, witnessing this unfold in real time and knowing it happened in their community, in their backyard. Literally, there are, residential homes that are across the street from this school, down Garfield Avenue, where I'm standing right now. So it's been really remarkable to be here and see this all unfold, and still a very active scene and a lot of law enforcement here as well.
Yeah, we're actually hearing from President Trump this morning. He posted on Truth Social. He says, "I've been fully briefed on the tragic shooting in Minneapolis. The FBI quickly responded. They are on the scene. The White House will continue to monitor this terrible situation. Please join me in praying for everyone involved." So that message coming from the president.
Caroline, I also want to remind people this happened during the morning mass.
Yeah.
So Wednesday morning mass, many of these churches and schools have these early morning masses at the Catholic churches where when the school is connected to it, the kids will attend as well. There are entire school masses there. So you're talking about, whether or not it's the full school or just part of the school, but you're talking about lots of community members, lots of kids just in one sanctuary there. And if one person coming in, I mean, that's why you can only imagine that you have 20 people now that have been confirmed shot in that spot. But it's not as if these kids would have been in their classrooms. You're talking about walking into a room where so many people were sitting there, an all school mass. And again, this is their first week of school. This was their time to welcome back these children into what is supposed to be a safe place. Not only a school, in a church, in a school.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we've seen these sorts of shootings happen in schools, in places of worship, and in those moments, you think, if you're a person of faith, I'm Catholic who goes to Mass, right? You are in Mass and you feel like it's a safe place. Anybody of any faith can feel that sort of connection, right? Is that they go to a place, they're worshiping in their faith, and that should be a place that is safe. And to have that sense of safety shattered is devastating.
Yeah, Caroline, we see some people behind you. Can you tell us, are those community members? Are those parents? Do you know anything about that?
The people behind me on the steps you see into the school?
Well, we see the police officers, but in just the shot that you just had, we just had some people there, and may just be in the community that are very concerned.
Yeah, there's. It's hard to know. There's been a lot of people here who just live in the area. Others who are parents. So I don't know their connection to this, but there's tons of people out here from the community, whether they have children enrolled here or not. We've got a camera over here panning to Max Fish and Chips.
Yes,
there's kind of a little side parking lot.
Sure.
A lot of people have been gathering there. A lot of people on the phone, potentially communicating with loved ones, family members about what's going on here, or perhaps getting details about their children who are at the school. We just don't know. We've been trying to talk to some of them in an on-camera interview, but understandably, people are very shaken up by this,
absolutely.
and so we as journalists have to be human first, and sometimes people's private moment to grieve is more important than getting them on camera. But we are talking to them, and it's a very emotional day, and there are people who are talking with us off camera.
Okay, so that is the uniform that those students wear at that school, that green shirt. So those there are students being walked out by someone there. You can see whoever is walking at them out, whether it's their mom, whether it's their caregiver, is certainly holding on to them tightly this morning in that spot. Caroline, we did just get an update, and we want to share with everyone here an update from the mayor's office. There will be a briefing at 10:30 this morning. They will give us additional details. We, of course, will carry that live right here on WCCO. So that's just about 35 minutes from now. The mayor's office telling us a briefing at 10:30 there. So we know our Barrett Leone is also on scene there. Caroline, you've been busy talking with us, giving us the very latest about what's happening there, but I know Barrett's also been trying to people. So we're going to try and check in with her. Did she just have?
So Barrett said, a person off camera, she said they heard the shots at 8:45, and she said they sounded like a hammer. Another person waiting for a friend and their son. So again, as you alluded to, people are just waiting, trying to figure out, is my child safe?
Right.
Is my loved one safe?
All right.
This is a new look right now. Looks like it's some people.
More families walking
out.
Barrett telling us she's just seeing family after family walking out. So thankfully, some of these. Look at that.
Oh,
look at that.
Yeah.
Just and that right there is what any parent is feeling right now. You're not going to let go of your child this morning. There, whoever you are, wherever you are this morning. And look at these, just little ones. You see the one behind her? You can see these are live pictures of people. So we now know, thankfully, that many of the families are starting to be reunited there. You can see that one right behind with the glasses there. That is certainly an Annunciation kid with their, she's got her shirt on there too, but some grim faces, of course. And then, I look at this little boy, too, who is, in a way, like blissfully unaware of just the horror that's going on around him. But so many kids in that school are not. The school goes all the way up through 8th grade. There are many students there that know exactly what is going on. And I think about students at any school that has had a shooting there and the impact. You talk to kids about Sandy Hook, however many years later, and just the chilling and devastating impact that has had on them after all of those years. Another family here being reunited with their little one. Once again, this is a K-8 school, so you have kids as young as 5 going to this school here.
And a relatively small school, too.
Yeah, and AJ, I don't know if you notice this. I know that you do actually notice this. Every single family walking out, both parents are holding those hands, tightly.
You think about the kids, but you also think about the adults and how they have to be so brave in this moment, too, for their kids, to be able to talk to them about what's going on, but also to be able to be strong and not as scared for them in this moment. And
being
what
brave.
they do. Being brave.
You have to show them what bravery looks like. That way they are not scared themselves. Again, these are live pictures that we are getting. We've seen, 3 or 4 families that have walked out now?
Yeah, and I have some additional information to what we just got, but we are getting this reportable, which is also what sources have been telling me this morning, is that the shooter died by suicide. We know that the shooter, Minneapolis police told us earlier that the shooter is contained, that there was no active threat anymore. And these are just some of the facts that we're getting. I know the emotion of the day is so heavy right now. But some of what we do want to share with people are what we know about the investigation and what's happening on scene with law enforcement. Trying to make sure people are currently safe. And we are learning now that from sources that the shooter did die by suicide. I'm being told that it was one person dressed in all black. They are not looking for anyone else. I also heard from the ATF, that's who investigates crimes involving guns. They are on scene along with the FBI, and the ATF told me that they will be putting an urgent trace on any weapon that was found at the scene. They don't have a count for me at this time, but what we know is we took people to the National Tracing Center in West Virginia last year to show people what that looks like, to find out where these guns came from. That's going to be for down the road. Right now in the moment is caring about these kids, these families, these people that were in there, but that's part of the investigation that will be coming later.
Yeah. Another family coming through. You can see that green shirt once again. You see mom, you know, exactly how you would expect a parent to be. Dad holding on tightly there. I assume that's mom and dad. I could be wrong, but just remember, this was the very start of the school day. People probably dropped their children off and then made their own way into work, and then started hearing reports early on of a shooting at a church. And you can only imagine what is going through anyone's mind when they are hearing that, making their way back then. Again, more families making their way outside of the school right now. I don't know if we can somehow get a count, if someone maybe can help us look that up, a count of how many children go to the school. AJ, you have new information, I think, on this media availability, or this more detailed coming out from Minneapolis Police at 10:30.
So there's a news conference is scheduled for 10:30 this morning. City and public safety officials, they'll release information as soon as that information is confirmed. We talked about the staging area where people can go. If you're just now joining us, the reunification zone at Annunciation School, that is at 525 West 54th Street. That is in Minneapolis. But the public right now advised to stay away from this area to allow emergency personnel to help victims. So please stay away from 54th Street between Lyndale and Nicollet Avenue in Minneapolis right now, as they work to make sure that families are reunited with their loved ones right now.
Right. I'm just hearing word from some of the parents who I know who go to neighboring Catholic schools. A parent from Holy Angels just texted me. She said Holy Angels was on lockdown, but now the kids are headed into a prayer service there to pray for the children and the families and the staff and everyone who works over at Annunciation.
We know 20 people are injured here. We've seen a lot of kids coming out, and we don't know the extent of their injuries, but we know there might be some kids who had to come out a different way in an ambulance or something, you know, and that's hard to wrap your head around as well.
Well, Jen, Merle, you're just getting some new information, Jen?
We are, and I'm waiting to get just a little bit more before we report this, because all the information is sensitive, and we want to make sure we have this right, because this is all happening and unfolding, and but people, you know, our sources that we have good relationships with are sharing information from there about some of the victims. And that's what we are working to learn is how people are doing. That's the most important thing right now. And as soon as I have more, we'll be sure to bring it to everyone.
Let's get back now to our Caroline Cummings. She has been on the scene for the past hour or so. We know these first calls came in at 8:37. Caroline, you've been there right after that. What are you seeing now?
Well, as you saw from some of those images that you took live on our air, Heather, the unification process, children meeting up with their parents after all of this happened, is in progress. It's happening. A lot of children coming out of those front doors there. What has struck me so much is these kids are so young, right? Have to be, 10 years old, 8 years old. I mean, these are little humans who have to grapple with this. And how does a child make sense of this tragedy? A lot of the looks on their faces, blank stares, distraught, because again, no child should be experiencing this, as you said so well, Heather, when they're supposed to have the excitement of the new school year, and a tragedy that nobody could have predicted or imagined happens right at their school during what should be an exciting time and certainly a solemn time if we're talking about having a school mass, which, like you said so well, Heather, is a fixture of going to a Catholic school, having a weekly mass with with students, and it's just really a lot of people still here watching, not taking their eyes off of what is behind me, which is the entrance to that school, as you see children leaving to meet their parents, who I'm sure are, like you said, Heather, holding their children so tight today. And I think any parent in Minnesota is thinking about that hug that they're going to give their child when it returns home from school.
Right. We understand now, just looked it up. Annunciation Catholic School, again, K through 8 school. It has 375 students there, and generally, you know, sometimes the little ones don't quite make it through the mass all the way there, but certainly, you know, hundreds of students. And this is also a community mass too. So I'm sure that there were members of the community that attend that early morning mass along with the students in there. We just got word also from the council member who is the council member for that ward in that spot, sending out her condolences and saying, as the day unfolds,
Katie
again,
Cashman.
yes, please stay out of that area at 50 Fail 4th and Lindale there.
You alluded to this before, Heather, but you know, we talk about this a lot. You know, school can produce anxiety. You know, school can be different for a lot of kids.
Especially at the beginning of the year.
At the beginning of the year. So you think about, you know, you've calmed your child down. Hey, you know, we're going to have a successful start to the school year. We're ready. You know, you get teachers on the same page, and then you go to school. Again, the spot where you're supposed to be safe, where you feel like you're going to be safe, and you have an unfortunate situation like this that happens.